Jaya Radha Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming to Sunday feast of ISKCON Eindhoven, right? Bhakti Center Eindhoven.
Once we get a temple, it will be fine.
Okay, soon.
Yeah.
All the efforts from devotees and also Master from Dhruva along with the Thank you all. So quickly, I think half an hour more now. So we'll quickly go through the content of this today's topic. I would like to cover from Srimad Bhagavatam. I heard that Bhagavad Gita series is done, right?
It is done with 17 we are done.
Okay. I thought it's done, then I moved to Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. I think it would be nice if Nilamur Prabhu gives a summary and then ends with the 18th chapter. So today we'll be talking about Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll be talking about the important story of Dhruva Maharaj. How many of you are all familiar here about the character of Dhruva Maharaj? At least you might have heard Dhruva Maharaj in your story somewhere. How many of you have heard? Okay. So today the topic, the title is From Heart to Heart. So we're going to see the Dhruva Maharaj's devotion, how he had shown, and when he got hurt, and then how that has turned to the love, and that is evolved in his heart. That is something we are going to experience today. So it's very important lesson that we can derive from Dhruva Maharaj's pastimes. So please be attentive and take something home. Rather than we'll be sitting at home, I think we are come here. So let's be focused here and let's see whatever we can absorb today. Let's try to reflect on that for the next week. And also, there's a small quiz in the end. There's also a wonderful gift for that. So please, there's only one gift. So you have to be attentive. Okay. So, what did all you see on the screen? Characters, whoever is familiar, quickly, we have only half an hour session. Yes, Karthik. Okay, Dhruva Maharaj. Where is Dhruva Maharaj here?
The one who's next to the angry mother.
Okay. On the right side or left side?
Right.
Okay. Here, this side is Dhruva Maharaj. Yes, and then who is the other one?
The other
Yes, Kṛṣhṇa.
Krishna.
Wow, nice. Good one. Next. What are the other characters you see on the screen? Pardon? Yeah? Dhruva Maharaj's son. I don't see, but he's not there. No, he's not there, Ram. He's not there. So there's actually two incidents here. So the left part and the right part. So already Dhruva Maharaj is covered. Dhruva Maharaj's brother, that is Uttama, who is sitting on the lap of father, king. So anybody knows the king's name? King's name? The father of Dhruva Maharaj is Uttanapada. 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 Uttha. Uttanapada. And then on Dhruva Maharaj's lap, who is sitting? That is another son, that is Uttama. And who is standing next to him is Dhruva Maharaj, and next to him is his mother, stepmother, Suruchi. Okay, so now I'll just give you a brief about the timelines. So we are talking about here, at least, do you know the grandfather of Uttanapada? Sorry, Dhruva Maharaj? The grandfather of Dhruva Maharaj. That's actually the Manvantara starts. That's the time. Yeah, Mataji knows. That's Swayambhu Manu. So we are talking about from the Swayambhu Manu pastime. So when we say like Swayambhu Manu, do you get it? What we are talking about here? This has a very great significance, like how in English we say like 23rd August 2023. So we know like we have gone to the timeline, correct? When we say Swayambhu Manu, were you also able to go like that? No. So that's a pitiable condition we are all in. Those are the actual measurements. So how the time is measured, that's equivalent to the time of Brahma. Okay? Because Brahma is the creator who has come from the navel of Vishnu, correct? So now, to understand this Swayambhu Manu, what is the timeline means? First, this is the first Manvantara comes. So before that, I'll break down into the other smaller chunks. So how many yugas we have? 4 yugas. Namely, quick. Start with, pardon? Satya, then
Dwapar Yuga, Treta
No,
Yuga,
then comes Treta Yuga, then comes Dwapar Yuga, and then
Kali Yuga.
Kali Yuga. So the 4 yugas are there. So the 4 yugas, when you put together, this is called as Divya Yuga. Okay, one Divya is equivalent to 4 yugas. Okay, and Kali Yuga, do you know the lifespan of Kali Yuga time?
5,000 years. 5 lakh years.
Yeah, almost. You're close. You're closer. It's 432,000. So 432,000. I mean 432,000 years. That is the age of Kali Yuga. Okay. If you multiply that twice, that will become the age of. Before Yuga was Dwapar Yuga. And if you multiply the Kali Yuga into 3, that becomes the age of Treta Yuga. And if you multiply 4 times of Kali Yuga, that becomes that equivalent to Satya Yuga. You all here with me with the calculations? Okay. So now if you accumulate all of this, so one Divya Yuga is equivalent to how many years then?
Sorry.
One Divya Yuga.
432,000.
No, Divya Yuga is equivalent to what? It is a summation of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga.
Then 4 times. So
10 times.
Total 10 times. So 432,000 of Kali Yuga into 10 is 432. I mean, that is 4.32 million years. 4.32 million years, correct? So one Divya Yuga is equivalent to 4.32 million years. Okay? And then now, when you have 71 such Divya Yugas, so this is one cycle. So when 71 such cycles happens, that is equivalent to Manvantara. So when we say Swayambhuva Manu, that means it is in that particular time zone. So it's a huge calculation. To our English numbers, we can't go beyond trillions, and after that it's difficult. But if you can see in Vedic terms, they can go like to 100 zeros. We do have the terminologies. So that is the power of the science, the real science, which is already broken. Okay, now we are in Manvantara now. So which Manvantara? Swayambhuva Manvantara. So when 14 such Manvantaras happens, okay, so 71 Divya Yuga cycles happen, and then 14 Manvantaras, that is equivalent to 1 Manvantara, 71 Yuga cycles equivalent to 1 Manvantara, and when 14 Manvantaras happens, so again Manvantara is also have a repetition, correct? So when such 14 cycles happens, then that is called as Kalpa. So Kalpa is equivalent to half day of Brahma. Half day of Brahma. So in half day of Brahma, these many things happens, like so many Yuga cycles are happening. So that's almost like 4.32 billion years happens. In our day, bread toasty, lunch, dal, and then ends with some other, delicious dinner, correct?
4 hours of work.
Yeah, a lot of work. Yeah. And we were having babies, they are done already. Then half day is over. So that's the day of Brahma. So imagine, Brahma's job is so tough. So he has to do all these activities in this half day. So in this half day, what's happening? 4.32 billion years is going on. And the rest half is again goes for the dissolution. So one kalpa is equivalent to half day, that's daytime of Brahma. And that is equivalent to 14 manvantaras. That is also, one manvantara is again equivalent to 71 Divya Yuga cycles. And one Divya Yuga is equivalent to 4 yugas, what we see here. So far it's clear? So now, out of 14 manvantaras, the first manvantara comes is Swayambhuva Manvantara. So this Dhruva's pastime happened there. Clear? Now I'll ask you a question. Where are we now? Are we in which manvantara? No. That's Kalpa, what you're talking about. No, that is Vaivashvat Manvantara. Yeah. So we are in the Vaivashvat Manvantara, that is the 7th Manvantara. So out of 14, we are already done with half. So we are in the 7th one. So we are talking about the first Manvantara pastimes. Okay? And in that 7th Manvantara also, we are in 28th Divya Yuga cycle. So we do still have the records. So that's still not burnt. At least such things are there with us. So this is how the time is calculated, not like just, unfortunately what we say is, yeah, so and so, like, what is the time now we are measuring with respect to whom then? AD God. Yeah, that is what. So we are saying the Lord is Jesus. So unfortunately every day we are all telling that we are all the disciples of Jesus Christ. that's the situation we are in. Even when you say time, that means you're already there. You're telling Lord as Jesus. So, but the actual time zone is calculated with respect to the cycle of Brahma. So now in Swayambhu Manvantara, first Manvantara we are talking here. Now Swayambhu's son is, I told you just now, Uttanapada. And Uttanapada has two wives. One is Suruchi, who is very dear to the king Uttanapada, and the second wife is Suniti. Okay, Suruchi's son is Uttama, who is on the lap of Uttanapada. Here you see on the screen. And the Suniti's son is Dhruva Maharaj, who is standing next to him. So now the scenario here, what happened was, when Dhruva Maharaj came into the palace where the king was sitting on the throne, and then suddenly he saw his brother Uttama, stepmother's son, right? So Uttama, he saw that brother was sitting on the lap of father. Then he also decided that, okay, he also had a desire. Of course, when something other kids, if I do prahlad, immediately come to me and say, like, do the same. So that's natural tendency. Similarly, Dhruva Maharaj also, Dhruva at the time, he also asked Uttanapada that I also want to sit on your lap. The moment he went towards the king, first mother, that's Suruchi, who is very beloved of King Uttanapada, she denied. She said, you don't have any right. You don't have any right to sit on the lap of your father. She says, for that you need to do two things. Number one, you need to worship Lord Narayan. You need to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, Narayan. And the second is, you should take birth in my womb, not from the womb of someone else. Then only you get an opportunity, then only you are eligible to sit on the lap of your father. So that's the reason why she said you cannot sit on your father's lap. And at the same time, if you can also see here, being a king, he is a father, right? Uttanapada. He would have at least taken him, correct? At least he would have taken him towards him, or at least tap on his head and then console him, correct? He did not do any of such things. It's just because he was also afraid of his connection with the first wife, who is also very dearmost. So because of these boundary conditions, because in the material platform he is behaving, being a king, and that's the reason why he couldn't. That's the reason why he couldn't allow his son to sit on his lap. So far it's clear? Yeah? And then now, when Dhruva Maharaj had seen this thing, before that, Dhruva Maharaj is just 5 years old, 5 years is like, maybe here, who is 5 years? Somewhere. I think between him and Prahlad is somewhere like that. Shorty, how old are you? Huh? Yeah, between you and Pulla, something like that. Very small boy, correct? Very innocent. He doesn't know like, okay, this is my stepmom, this is my real mom. He doesn't have any difference actually if you see that. So initially, Dhruva Maharaj was also like, there is no difference between his mom and stepmother. So he was considering treating them same. The moment Suruchi injected this sort of a negative thoughts, so he was very sad. And when he heard about all this, that you don't have any right, automatically what happens? He's a Kshatriya, correct? Kshatriya, he's coming from the king's family, and then his sadness has turned out into an anger. So these all the concepts I think you would have covered in Bhagavad Gita, how anger comes the growth. So then the sadness has arisen to anger now, and then immediately he couldn't control it at that place. And slowly the news has passed to the queen, to another mother, the mother of Dhruva, that is Suniti. So Suniti was outside the palace, and then she got the news from the people over there, and then immediately she ran towards Dhruva Maharaj, and Dhruva was also coming towards his mother. I think that's also the point where like she explains that I do not have any such equal rights like how your stepmother has, Suruchi. So I am even treated here like less than a maidservant. So because you grew up by having my such milk, so then of course you do not have the equal rights here. And then she says one very important point, that she was also breathing very heavily, and she did not know the factual remedy at that point. Like she couldn't know what to do. Because the king and the queen already denied, so what she can do now? So she did not have any remedy, and then she says that like, not finding a remedy, she said to her son, my dear son, don't wish for anything inauspicious for others. anyone who inflicts pains upon others suffers himself from that pain. So she consoles him in that manner. I think this is also a nice point that we also see. We also try to teach somebody that our kids also do not try to harm others. So at this moment, let's say if you are all in Dhruva Maharaj's position, will you also be able to take it in a very nicer way? What Queen Suniti has told to her son. Would you be able to take it in an easier way? No? All are Kshatriyas here. Nice. Yeah. So the same thing happened to Dhruva Maharaj, and he said, no, I want to sit on my father's lap. And then she said, then in that case, I would like to say one thing. There is no other way. The only way is to go and worship Lord Narayan. Only He can guide you. So then he said, where can I find Lord Narayan? Where He will be? So because this is the time zone from Satyayuga, so those days, so then she used to say that you can find Him in the forest. So then he goes to the forest, and then while walking in the forest, he started asking all the trees, flowers, plants, where is Lord Narayan? And then suddenly one personality appears there. Who is that? Narada Muni. So in movies, Narada Muni is depicted in a very bad way. He comes and puts some sort of strangles in between two parties. He is the one who kindles that fire. So like that, it's portrayed in a very bad way. But he's a very, very nice personality who actually helps every soul. Very kind. It's Mahajana. So one of the 12 Mahajanas. So, but I'll ask you one question here. At this moment, Narada Muni comes and guides Dhruva Maharaj in the middle of the forest. So I'll ask you one question. I want all of you to think. Let's say when you are in the forest like that, when a person is arranged like that, who will be arranging like this? Who will be arranging?
Narayan himself.
Narayan himself.
Yeah, God himself.
Okay. What is the need for Lord to arrange like that?
So that the bhakts can come closer to him during the tough times.
Yeah.
उनके हाथ में है तो जानते हैं इस बच्चे के इंटेंशंस क्या है, so अपना भक्त को भी उसको गाइड करना.
So Mataji is telling that he already resides in the heart, that is super soul as Paramatma. So he already knows what people are thinking. Every thought he knows is overseer. So then he knows that. So that means he wants to guide. But let's say when we are not doing our task with respect to Narayan, Lord Narayan, but we are engaging in some other task, let's say in our day-to-day life, we are trying to also do certain tasks, right, which are very challenging. At that moment also for us something comes in our place. Do you think that time also Lord Narayan is sending? Example, let's say I want to buy a big building. I don't have money. Something it got arranged on the way. The building is not I'm using it for spiritual purpose. Let's say I'm using it for my commercial purpose. So even in that sense, you see there is a support coming on the way. Correct? So who is arranging that then? Yeah, that's the right answer. It's Prakriti. The nature itself. See, Prakriti means it's a place for us to perform, It's a platform. So the platform is designed in a way that whatever you plan to achieve something, you desire to achieve something, it's arranged in that manner. So in the same way for Dhruva Maharaj here, so the Prakriti already arranges. So automatically the signal has gone to Narada Muni, and then Narada Muni comes and guides Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj now getting the guidance from Narada Muni. So he asks, where is Lord Narayan? So Narada Muni first explains him that see, you are a small kid. To get the mercy of Lord Narayan or to have darshan of Lord Narayan now, it's not easy for you. You are just a 5 years kid. How will you be able to see Lord Narayan? It's not easy. You have to have very, very severe austerity, a big tapasya that you need to do, which is beyond your limits. So you cannot achieve that. But what Dhruva Maharaj says, I want to see Lord Narayan. I want to meet him. Because what is his desire? Is to sit on his father's lap. Not only that, he has another desire. That is that why he was denied, because his mother was not equally treated. So he decides that I need the wealth that is bigger than his great grandfather. Who is his great grandfather? Brahma. So the wealth bigger than Brahma means what that would be? It's bigger than the creation itself. So he is asking that. So that is the reason why he was going with that intention, like he wants the wealth which is bigger than the wealth of his great grandfather. So at that moment when he says that, then another Muni says it's not correct, and he gives a lot of philosophy that the main essence he gives a very important that we all also should read that. That I would like to read that purport here. Yeah, before that, I would like to say that when Narada Muni came and explaining all this, Dhruva says one thing, my dear sage, at this moment, my heart is filled with a lot of ignorance. Maybe when I'm not in that ignorance, I will be able to capture it. I would have accepted your teachings, but now I'm not able to reciprocate with those teachings. And at this point of time, my only desire is to see Lord Narayan. And I think I would like to read this purport from one of the purports from 4th canto 8th chapter. So it says, so now here Dhruva Maharaj is explaining. Please attentively follow this. I'll try to read, or anyone else would like to read?
No, it should be good.
Maybe Shyam, you can read louder.
There are various classes of men. One class is called akamis, referring to those who have no material desire. Desire must exist, either material or spiritual. Material desire arises when one wants to satisfy one's personal senses. One who is ready to sacrifice anything to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be said to have spiritual desire. Dhruva did not accept the instruction given by the great saint Narada because he thought himself unfit to such instruction, which prohibited all material desires. It is not a fact, however, that those who have material desires have prohibited from worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the essential instruction from the life of Dhruva. He frankly admitted that his heart was full of material desires. He was very much affected by the cruel words of his stepmother, whereas those who are spiritually advanced do not care about anyone's condemnation or adoration. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that persons who are actually advanced in spiritual life do not care for the dual behavior of this material world. But Dhruva Maharaj frankly admitted that he was not beyond the affliction of material distress and happiness. He was confident that the instruction given by Narada was valuable, yet he could not accept it. The question raised here is whether or not a person afflicted by material desires is fit to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The answer is that everyone is fit to worship Him, even if no one has any material desires to fulfill. He should take to Krishna consciousness and worship the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is so merciful that He fulfills everyone's desires. Through this narration, it will become very clear that no one is barred from worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even if one has many material desires.
Is it clear? I think we are all in this position, right? Every day we do have more material desires than being spiritual, correct? I think the spiritual desires are maybe like we have like maybe I'll attend every week without fail. Could be only one desire. But material, if you count, my son should be good, my wealth should be good, my office should be good, my family should be good, the flight which I get into should be safe. So many, correct? And number of desires. So it's very clear here. I think this purport is very apt for all of us. It says that like the answer is that everyone is fit to worship Him. Even if one has many material desires to fulfill, he should take to Krishna consciousness and worship the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that's why, see, this is a preliminary stages. It is not that you should have only material desires and then worship Him. So the point is that what I would like to make is we have, if you look at our proportion, for sure we have more of material desires than the spiritual desires. So that's the state. So even in this condition, let's not have a guilt, but always worship Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, and then for sure he will be evolving within us, and then he will be guiding us, like how Dhruva Maharaj got the guidance. So we will see what's going to happen to Dhruva Maharaj. So Narada Muni also says one more point to Dhruva Maharaj. This is also very important for us. It says that like every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. Correct? That's what we do. When he meets someone like less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with them. You got it? So when we meet somebody, like that's natural, right, for us. When we meet like similar age group and then like same work we do, so that means we feel that this person is almost like we're having similarities. So then we become immediately friend. And then when they're beyond, like when the person is more qualified, then we should be pleased. I think we should learn from them. And then when they are less qualified, we should show our mercy and we should be compassionate towards them. We should be kind enough. So that's natural. Wherever we go, we do that. Correct? And then even after all these teachings, whatever Narada Muni has taught to Dhruva Maharaj, still what he says? What he says? I want to meet Lord Narayan. So that's only a desire he has now. He wants to meet. So then finally Narada Muni instructs him, okay, now I think you have chosen this, so let me guide you. So now from here, if you can go to forest near Vrindavan, that's called Madhuvan. If you can walk there, and over there, river, which river is there? Yamuna, Kalindi. So there, you have to take bath 3 times a day. Okay, he says now the rules and regulations to seek Narayan. It's also applicable to us, if we can. So, and then take 3 times bath every day. And then he says, do Ashtanga Yoga. And then control your breath. And then do asanas. So now these days what we do, majority is like yoga, which, regularly what we do here, what we see basically is one aspect of this element. So basically yoga means to reunite, so to connect to Lord, correct? So now here this is one of the steps which is coming in between. So we take only the small aspect of it and then we try to use it for our own physical fitness. Majority, not everybody, majority. That's how the people are trending yoga into that direction. So now he says that like you have to do Ashtanga Yoga, you have to control your breath, then do asanas, and then you reach to the state called Samadhi. And in that state, when you have complete control over your breath also, then that is a state where you'll be able to see Lord Narayan. And then he also says that, Dhruva Maharaj starts walking to the forest, and then he finds a place, and then he starts meditating on the forms like what Narada Muni has instructed him, how he looks like that, and then he started meditating on that. And then, but what he does for the first month, for every 3 days, he takes only fruits in the first month. He was taking only fruits once in 3 days, for every 3 days. And in the second month, he was taking only leaves and dried grass, not even fruits, for every 6 days. So in the first month, for every 3 days, he was taking only fruits. And in the second month, he started taking only grass or dried grass or the leaves for every 6 days. And in the third month, for every 9 days, he started taking only water, nothing else. So are we ready to see Lord Narayan? Anyways, this is for Satya Yoga, and there's also a technique I can tell you how we can see Lord Narayan in Kali Yuga. So in the fourth month, what he did, for every 12 days, for every 12 days he started taking only one breath. Only one breathing, he inhales and then he stops. And then again after 12 days only, he takes the next breath. So that is the power of austerity that he was doing in this first 4 months. And 5th month he started standing on the single leg, and then he was started chanting the mantra which was given by Narada Muni. He says Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's the only mantra he was chanting throughout this process. So should we all do once the same prayer? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo so pleasant, right? And this is what he was doing for the whole 5 months, meditating on only this mantra by controlling all the senses, and then finally reached to the state where he could see Lord Narayan directly. So now whatever he was seeing inside his heart, the same visualization that about Lord Narayan, how he looks like he's having Shankar Chakra Gada Padma and then Pitambari, the yellow colored cloth, and then all the descriptions which are mentioned in Bhagavatam also nicely it is described here. And here he finally sees Lord Narayan in his heart. So, and at that point of time, and he's seeing this in his heart, and he's still meditating on this, the same mantra. So, and now what is happening here is, I'll give you the background of this. When he started feeling, when he started controlling this whole breath also, when he controlled all his senses, he has become one with Lord Narayan himself. So the weight, what he was having, it's as equivalent to Lord Narayan. So I will give you a small, I think this also strikes me the physics concepts, like when we travel in flights, the whole energy of the flight, we also share it, correct? We are part of that. And it's distributed to all the passengers or whatsoever is there inside. The whole energy of the flight, which is traveling at like many kilometers, hundreds of kilometers per second, and then that per hour, that energy is shared to all the passengers also. And then when you take the finite energy of that, that can also become like the full energy, which is same thing happened to Dhruva Maharaj here. So Dhruva Maharaj also, like, because he has controlled and because he was chanting the Supreme Personality of Godhead's names, that's the reason why he could feel that same as like Lord Narayan. And then suddenly the entire earth, because he was standing on one leg, right? And the big toe started pushing the earth down because of his weight, heavy weight. And because he controlled his breath, he is now inhaled and he did not take the next breath. So now everybody in the creation also started feeling the same, choking, including Devatas, everybody. So now all the Devatas ran towards Lord Narayan. My dear Lord, we are not able to breathe, it's too suffocating. So this devotee is so powerful and we are not able to do anything, it's stopping our breathing also. Please can you save us? Always they approach Lord Narayan. And then Lord Narayan says, now I'll go and then I'll go and show my mercy to this devotee. So you people do not have to worry about it. And then that is a point when Lord Narayan disappears from there and then comes in front of Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj, while he closed his eyes, he could see inside his heart. When Lord Narayan disappeared there, he couldn't see anything, it has become blank. Then he lost everything. Then he opened his eyes. Then he could directly see Lord Narayan in front of his face. So then immediately he pays his obeisances to Lord Narayan. But the thing is, he was small and he even doesn't know like how to pay the obeisances and also what to offer the prayers. So at that moment he was very inexperienced, but he still had the desire to offer his prayers to Lord Narayan. And then immediately Lord shows his mercy on him. So by keeping a conch shell, Shankar, on his head, so with the touch of Lord, everything got cleared for him. So he could understand the entire creation. He got aware of the Vedic conclusion and he got the absolute truth, what absolute truth means. So, and also he got to know his relationship with all the living entities and what is his relationship to the Lord. So all these things immediately evolved. So that's how this also strikes me like how scientists think, we think that scientist is great, but that's not the scientist, the thought which provokes them, right? That is something great. So who provides that? So that's a Prakriti again, that's nature. So it's none other than Lord himself. So that's how here Dhruva Maharaj got involved with all these things by a single touch of Lord Narayan on his head. And then he also illumined with all his senses. This way he could understand clearly. Now he says, My dear Lord, I came here with the desire of what? What was his desire? To get a kingdom bigger than his great grandfather, not grandfather. Grandfather is small. Great grandfather is like entire creation. So that one, and also to sit on his father's lap. But when he asked for the kingdom, so now he says to Lord, my dear Lord, what I was asking is just like broken pieces of glass. So when a glass is broken, we even like feel very much scared to touch that because it automatically hurts us. So we use some measures to throw it away, correct? So such is the wealth that he was desiring. That's already the bigger than the creation he was asking. So then imagine what we are desiring is like not even a peanut. I mean, not even that. It's very minute fractions of the creation that we still fight for each other. So when Dhruva Maharaj said this, and he also shares one analogy here that when a king and Lord asks like Dhruva, what do you want? So then he immediately says this, Lord, it is like when a farmer tries to please the king, when king says that like what do you want, or he doesn't have anything. Let's say when king asks what do you want, he says like just give me some dried husks so that I can have some food, like that he says. So here Dhruva Maharaj is also telling that I was like asking the dried husks when you're asking me like what I want. So at this point of time, Dhruva Maharaj completely surrenders to Lord Narayan, and he understood the desire what he had was not the correct one. So then because he got enlightened with all the senses, and then he understood his position and also his desire, and that is the point when he completely surrenders to Lord Narayan. And let's read this shloka, which is very important. I'd like to conclude in some time, in 5 minutes. Bhaktim muhu pravahatam tvayi me prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amala sayanam yenagnesolpanam uru vyasanam bhavabdim nesye bhavat guna katamrita panamatta. O unlimited Lord. And then finally Dhruva Maharaj says this prayer also like, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross an assigned portion of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent. And this is how Dhruva Maharaj is also emphasizing how important it is to also get the association of devotees constantly. Otherwise, even such Dhruva Maharaj, he got enlightened with everything. Still, he asked for this benediction from Lord Narayan. And then Lord also awards him with the planet called Dhruva planet. I mean, we see that pole star Dhruva. And he says that like you be the king over there. Over there the predominant deity is Kshirodaka Vishnu, but he is the king over there. And it's also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says that like that planet won't get annihilated even though the whole creation gets annihilated. So such is the power and the mercy of Lord showing towards Dhruva. Because of the great devotion and the determination that he was showing towards the Lord. Even though the desire was something material, we all have such material desires. Eventually that turned out to be a biggest blessing for him. Similarly, that's why I asked you to read the previous purport when Shyam was reading. It is clearly mentioned, even though you have material desires, never leave Lord Krishna. It's very important for all of us to worship him constantly. And eventually those desires will turn out to spiritual things, and that will be the biggest blessing for all of us. So that's how Dhruva Maharaj gets the mercy, and then finally he gets back to his kingdom. And in parallel, when Narada Muni instructed him, he also went to the kingdom and he looked at his father. So that father was Uttanapada, correct? Uttanapada was very much aggrieved and he was sad. Then he realized his mistake, So he was lamenting, and then Narada Muni consoles him that he is in the right hands, don't worry. So then after this darshan and the blessings, Dhruva Maharaj also went back to his kingdom, and eventually Uttanapada retires and then goes to forest. Then the kingdom was ruled by Dhruva Maharaj. So how many years he ruled the kingdom? Any guesses? He's a small boy, so that means next how many years can you guess he can rule?
50.
50? Oh, that means you didn't follow the class. So we are in Satyayug. So Satyayug lifespan is?
Oh yeah, 4 times more than no, 3 times more.
Okay, that's a different concept. That is the life cycle of Yuga. Now I'm talking about the lifespan of Jivas here. So the living entities here, the lifespan is, in Kali Yuga it is average is 100. I think now we are already close to 60, 70. And yeah, the 10 times of before is Dwapar Yuga. So it's like 100 into 10,000 years, average is like Dwapar Yuga. And then into 10 is 10,000 years is Treta Yuga. And into 10 of that like 1 lakh years usually. So after that Dhruva Maharaj almost leads 36,000 years, he rules the kingdom. So he rules the kingdom with a lot of love and devotion and also a lot of responsibilities. And then finally at the last phase of his life, the death personified himself comes and surrenders at the feet of Dhruva Maharaj because of the austerity that he did already. So the death personified, the death comes and surrenders to the feet of Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj steps on the death and then he takes the Vaikuntha planet, and that's how he reaches Lord. And while going in the Vaikuntha plane, he asked the members, the Vishnu Dutas, that what I want to also check about my mother. Because of my mother, today I am in this position. So I also would like to take my mother along with me, that is Suniti. And then Vishnu Duta says, your mother is already at the head of the plane. So that's also Prabhupada says, like, if one person follows Krishna consciousness seriously, that itself, like, there are thousands of devotees, but even if one person sincerely follows, it will take everybody, whoever in that association. So always it's also important for us also to be in the association always and follow the rules and regulations. If not that, at least take up the easier way. I was also telling you that in Kali Yuga how to see Lord Narayan, right? Any answers how we can see Lord Narayan in Kali Yuga? Exactly, he knows the answer, but we have to be sincere and we have to put our pure hearts to chant that mantra regularly. So efforts are needed, otherwise it's not possible, it's not easy. But anyways, we take baby steps, at least let's try to do first. Let's get to the numbers, then let's get to the consciousness. Slowly we will also evolve with the help of and mercy of devotees and also mercy from the Lord. So that's how Dhruva Maharaj story ends here. And we didn't talk about his stepmother. So eventually his stepmother son Uttama was hunting in the forest, and then he got killed during that process. And then his mother got maddened, and then she went to the forest in search of her son. And finally she also got devoured from the forest fire. So that's how they leave. So it says that like that time Dhruva Maharaj was not Maharaj, correct? He was just a small boy. So unintentionally or intentionally, when we hurt someone, it really affects a lot. So because she did a Vaishnava aparadh there, so aparadh to a devotee, so that's how they both have to end their lives in that manner. So it says that like never don't hurt anybody unnecessarily, yeah, unless there is a need. So Dhruva Maharaj ki jai. So I'll end it here quickly. I want if you have any questions, one or two questions, quick. Yeah. Otherwise, I want all of you to open your mobiles. We'll take a small quiz. Let's start. Only 10 questions. Fast. If you answer fast, it will be purely based on the question. The subject what I told you now. So, fastest answer gets top on the board. Who is the great grandfather of Dhruva Maharaj? Only 15 seconds. Yeah, you have to wait. Just wait. You got it right?
No, it is because only joined late.
Pratik, can you just check? You can also join now. Menti.com, enter the code again. 1607. Swayambhu Manu is just grandfather. His grandfather. Ravi to salt?
No, it's stuck again. I shifted to the
Salt?
I think I have to do wrong.
Maybe Karthik, you join Pratik.
Yeah, you can do it.
Dhruva's fan. Nice man. Question 2.
But you are in. We are
What is the first Manu in the day of Brahma? Yeah, Vaivasvata Manvantara is something what we are living, which is the 7th Manvantara. Out of 14 Manvantaras, Vaivasvata Manu is where we are living. And the first Manu is Swayambhu.
No, Prabhu, it is sometimes the option is not coming at all. Like the first question we didn't get off.
Is the same case with everybody?
No, for some people it is not.
Okay.
But anyway, go ahead. That is easy, like so we will get now.
I'm not sure if you got it. How many Divya Yugas are there in one Manvantara? Alright, that's maybe you have to press before timeline, 15 seconds. Yeah, the 14, I think 3 you would have confused, I kept it like that. 14 Manvantara is equal to 1 Kalpa. Yeah, I asked how many Divya Yugas are there in one Manvantara, that is 71. So we not allow Dhruva to sit on his father's lap. Yeah, I'm sure everybody would have kept Suruchi. The right answer is Suruchi and Uttanapala. Because Uttanapala also, that's why I was emphasizing, he would have at least taken. He also did not have that. Good one, huh? 15-0. So please go through all the options. Yeah. So when we meet somebody less qualified, we should be compassionate and kind towards them. The friendship is when we have similar, same qualification. These are the concepts already taught us in the this question, only 5 questions left. Yeah. What did he pass on in the second one? Right grass and leaves. The fruits was only in the first month. And what did he pass on third month? water for every once in 9 days.
Yeah, okay. You get that. I will not look at it.
Second question. Dhruva Maharaj chanted on the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Perfect. So you need to go Sanskrit term for this. Good. This answer. But anyways, it's about the mercy of the Lord. The moment with the touch, everything got rewarded. 9th question, last question. You compare the wealth to? Nice. Diverting, yeah? Oh, really cute. Okay, we compare to broken pieces of glass because you can't even fix that one. The broken piece of wood can be fixed, but with glass it's very difficult. I mean, it's almost impossible for us. So such is the wealth, which is already bigger than the creation. Yeah. Is there mobile too? Blue fans, Yogesh, Ola, AK, Bhagya on the top leaderboard. Let's go to the last one.
But a lot of people they get wrong on the last question.
Merging with the Lord, I think we are not the ones who is achieving for that. I mean, there are people like who also work on that, such as like, so to be with the Lord, to be in the same place as the Lord, or within the Lord. So that's not our ambition. So let's see the leaderboard. Congratulations, Dhruva's fan.
Who is that?
Who is that? And who is AK? Oh, congratulations, Prabhu. And Yogesh. Congratulations. All of us? Swati? Congratulations, and also to all the members today. This is not for something for fun, but also to revise and recap. So it's very important for all of us also to understand the position of Guru, and please take it home, and especially for us, the age of Kali Yuga is chanting. So only chanting is something can help us. Not something, it's the only thing which is also solution for all of us, nothing else. So in Satyayuga they used to do Ashtanga Yoga, and in Treta Yuga they used to do Yagyas, and in Dwapar Yuga they used to do Vigrahachana, and then now it's only the way is to chant, recite the holy names, that's it, nothing else. So please take it seriously, your chanting, and it's also for me also, and that's the only solution. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And also for the winner, I would like to give a delicious gift. See, Ravi Prabhu, can you hand it over to Pratik? That's not fair to Pratik. He's our senior. Yeah, that's why if you don't mind, shall I opt for the second one? Who was that? Abhishek. Congratulations. Prabhu, that's not yet offered. You give to Ravi Prabhu, will
Yeah, you can
offer.
offer it.
And while leaving, distribute everybody.
Good Friday.